We have with us, and again, my huge thanks to my friend and colleague, Lion Stu Young, who's been my wingman so far this week. And he's come to talk a little bit about the area that he's responsible for. We have Lion Fran Starry, who always comes impeccably dressed, and she will then talk to you a bit about brain tumour research. And finally, Lion Chris Hibbert, who has taken on the role of looking after hunger, and he has some ideas and some projects to share with you. I won't tell you what they're going to say because they're going to do that. But first of all, thank you very much, all three, for giving up your time. Service is really important. It's, as I say, what we do, who we are. We have 5 areas of service, very easy to remember them because most of us have 5 digits on one hand and we know what we're about. So without any further introduction, I will allow people to introduce themselves. I should have said, for those of you I haven't met yet, I'm Sue Wilding. I'm in the membership chair for our multiple district. And I would like to welcome, first of all, to the microphone, Lion Stu Young. Thank you, Stu.
Thank you, Sue. Good afternoon, fellow Lions. Thank you for letting me come today to talk to you about the area that I look after for the MD. I'm just going to start showing my screen, he says, hoping that's going to start working. Fingers crossed. I am the Multiple District's Child Site UK officer. That means I look after the vision screening project that we are slowly trying to launch across MD 105. COVID-19 is having a large impact on this project because we can't go out and about and start doing the trials that we still need to do. And Public Health England, who are the body we're working with, are dragging their feet, understandably, because their priority at the moment isn't about childhood screening, isn't about school health, it's around COVID-19. 13% of all children in the United Kingdom have an undiagnosed common eyesight problem. 13%. 1 in every 9. Screening of eyes takes place in school, normally when children are between the ages of 4 and 5. And this currently happens in 55% of all local education authorities in England. Current screening is a practical assessment that doesn't use any mechanics at all and doesn't look at the individual eye. It involves you covering your eye, reading a board, and the result being recorded. The NHS runs amazing eye screening centres. Every opticians, Boots, Specsavers, Vision Express, your high street opticians can check children's eyes for free. What we're finding is the majority of people don't take their children to have their eyes tested. Screening is a way of encouraging parents to get their eyes tested. MD 105 is tasking Lions across the British Isles to continue to be Knights of the Blind as challenged by Helen Keller. The vision camera that we're looking to use is quick and easy and allows us to screen a large number of children in a very short space of time. The average screening takes 30 seconds per child. Unless, of course, you're like me and have to crawl on the floor and chase the child round to get them to look into the camera. Each screening gives you one of 2 results, either a green light or a red light. This allows Lions to give a green letter or a red letter. The green letter says, thank you very much for having your eyes screened today. There is nothing outside the normal parameters, but please ensure you have your child's eyes regularly tested. The red letter says, thank you for having your child's eyes screened today. It's fallen outside our normal parameters and we suggest that you see an optician urgently. The emphasis is then on the parents to take the children to an optician of their choice. Public Health England are currently looking at approving our scheme, and that's key to us getting into schools. Obviously, at the moment, that's on pause. Schools don't want any visitors for understandable reasons, and we don't want to be putting Lions out doing screening at the moment because of COVID-19. The cameras will start being rolled out within the training schools district by district once we've had approval from Public Health England. We will be starting with districts 105CW and 105CE. Once we have Public Health England's buy into the project, we will then get Public Health Wales and Public Health Scotland to follow suit. Districts are currently raising funds to buy cameras. I know that 105CE has a little bit of a pot of money going, as does 105A, and we're hoping that LCIF, our international foundation, will give us some matching funding towards the cameras. So far, since this project started, we've had 3 areas that we've run test pilots for. In Colchester, we screened 276 children. 25 of those were referred to an optician. It's about 9.1%. In Coventry, we screened 84 children. 8 were referred to opticians. And in Bournemouth, we screened 310 children, with 40 children being referred to opticians, some 12%. The manufacturers of the camera expect somewhere between 10 and 15% of any screening to be referred. So our test pilots show that we are within their expected parameters. Going forward, we're going to continue to raise money for cameras. As soon as we get funding from Public Health England, a large amount of PR work will start. As soon as we get permission, our website will go live, promoting what this service is and how clubs can get involved. There'll be training given to every single Lion who wants to do the training, run district by district. There'll be a pin badge for those that become Knights of the Blind within MD 105. We will continue to work with district camera leads to roll these out across the whole of the MD. Currently, there's a two-way communication project happening between district governors, their district governor teams, and the project leads within each district to try and ensure that as we move forward, we continue to speak with one voice. This very much has to be an MD 105 project delivered the MD 105 way. That will allow us to have the sign-off from Public Health England that it is controlled. We're liaising with the district governor-elects to hopefully that they'll appoint camera leads for 2021-2022. There will be a webinar that will go up as soon as we have permission from Public Health England for it to start rolling out across the country. This is an amazing service project that can allow members that we currently have and potential members to see the work that Lions can do. It's a great way for parents to see how Lions can impact on children's lives, which may well get them involved in their local Lions club. If you can persuade 1 or 2 parents to start helping you do your screenings when they start rolling out, it's certainly a gateway into Lionism. The whole point of this project is to make children's lives better, to allow children to see, to hit one of our core service projects across the world around vision. Our challenge is to help benefit young people and to serve our communities. Please share the Lions vision when this project goes live. Encourage your clubs, encourage your zones, encourage your districts to get involved in this project and be Knights of the Blind. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you very much, Stu. As someone who's had to wear spectacles from a very early age, this sort of site project is very close to my particular heart. But now I will, rather than delay and ask for questions now, if it's okay to wait and see all 3 presentations, and then if there are comments and questions, please save those up till towards the end. I can see people making notes. Can I introduce then Lion Fran Starry? Again, I won't tell you what she's going to say because she's perfectly capable of doing that for herself. I would like to say thank you very much, Fran, for coming today. I know you're busy. Over to you.
Thank you, Lion Sue, and hello to everybody. There is a little bit of echo somewhere. Before I start, can I please have a show of hands of anybody who is aware of the Lions Brain Tumor Research Appeal? There's a few hands. Okay. There are some hands that aren't up, so I'm going to add a little bit more extra detail. So apologies to those who may have seen some historical presentations from myself or possibly know too much already. So I may end up repeating myself, but I think it's important. So good afternoon, everybody. I am Lion Fran Starry from 105CW, and I am the District Officer Lead for the Lions Brain Tumor Research Appeal, if it's not too obvious. This is all part of the Lions childhood cancer part of our core service projects. And there's a reason why we chose to support brain tumor research. More children and adults under the age of 40 die from a brain tumor than any other cancer. Less than 20% of those diagnosed with a brain tumor survive for more than 5 years. and that has actually dropped even further to somewhere between 12 and 13 with more recent studies. The government at the moment thinks it's okay to only give 1% of their cancer research funding towards this devastating disease. It's clearly not enough. There's over 250 different types of brain tumours, and they each require their own cure. But where there is a need, there is a lion. And Lions Clubs International of British Isles have partnered up with Brain Tumour Research, and we have a mission. And at this point, I will start to share my screen. I hope you can all see that. We have a mission to raise £1 million over the next 4 years. Now, I said this a year ago, but because of COVID, we've had a year extension. So we're starting again. So for the next 4 years, we're trying to raise £1 million. Now, that is meant to be dedicated, but when we give them the money, 80% of it will go towards research and 20% will go to equipment. It's not going to their admin costs or anything else, which would typically happen if you donated directly to brain tumour research. So one benefit of doing this through the Lions is you know that the money is going exactly where it's needed. Plus there's a benefit. And the benefit is that we will have a laboratory named after Lions Clubs International. What a legacy that we can leave behind within brain tumour research. Now, it costs about £2,740 a day to have a research lab running, which is a lot of money. So we want to try and push and support that as much as we can. And if there is any club or individual who wishes to donate that much over the next 4 years, then there's another benefit. You can see on the right-hand side picture what they call a wall of hope. And there are plaques that cover squares or rectangles, and each of those represents 1 day of research. Any club who donates the equivalent of a day's worth of research has the opportunity of having a plaque named after their club, or if they want to do it in memory of a lost lion or friend of lion, then there is a great opportunity there to do so. Now, how are we doing? We've so far raised £67,000, which is great. It's a great start, but 1 million is a lot to get to. So we need to keep pushing. Now, there are lots of different events that clubs can do or members can do. And you've got loads and loads of different events that various different Lions or clubs have been doing throughout this appeal. So lots of different ideas, whether it's quiz nights or bingo nights, raffles. There was a shooting day, a beer festival, all sorts, just to try and raise funds. So lots of ideas. And actually, in terms of membership, the more we get out there and the more that we show ourselves, the more people are aware that the Lions exist. And if they can have fun at the same time, we're in for a winner. If you do choose to hold an event, then there's lots of different material. And I'm not going to go into too much detail at this point in time because I've realized that we're talking about membership more so than service, but there is lots of material and my email address is there and I will add that into the comments section as well. So if anybody would like some more information, then please just ask. We are here to help. And if you do choose to hold an event, please share your event. We've got our own upcoming events as well. So this is a great opportunity to start either planning for an event or join in on one of ours. You could almost have it as a club social or a friend social. One of the key reasons why people join the Lions is because of the fun. And actually having a bingo night or a quiz night where you don't even have to do anything other than show up is a great social event. So there's another opportunity to maybe get some more members if you invite them along. And on the screen, there are some upcoming events that you may wish to get involved. The bingo nights I host myself once a month, usually on the 3rd Saturday of the month. So please, all you have to do is email me your interest. Anyone is invited. There are limited tickets, but if you get in there nice and quick, then you're guaranteed a spot. The quiz days we have is Facebook Live. So again, anybody can join in as long as they've got a Facebook account, and they can do a search for the Lions Brain Tumor Research. That's the Facebook page name, Lions Brain Tumor Research. And you can see all the different things we get up to. And again, if you're holding your own event, all you have to do is let us know, and we will share it on our Facebook page as well. The more people we share, the more we are seen, and that's quite crucial to support with membership as well, being known. There are some other events there that are more where we're piggybacking off of brain tumor research, and we're getting co-branded posters. So if a club wants to hold an event, and again, you may use this as a way of engaging with your local community for potential members. So we've got a Wear a Hat Day coming up very, very soon. And I've got co-branded posters that I can share with you. If you want to do that, you can do it over Zoom or something like that, and people just get to wear funky hats. Maybe you want to make it into a bit of a competition. Who's got the best hat or most creative hat? We've also got an Easter raffle coming up. In June, there's Wear a Hat Day with flowers. Now, we did this last year, so here's a bunch of pictures from various different clubs and members, and actually community people as well who took part. And in the top right-hand corner, you can see our flower origami hat winner. I tell you what, there's some skill in that one. We've also got in July On Your Bike, and in September Walks of Hope. So again, this is where you can engage with your local community and host your own sort of project on that to help raise funds for the appeal. That's our Facebook page, the Lions Brain Tumor Research. So please find us, like us, follow us, and you'll get to hear all of the exciting things we have going on. And again, this Saturday is our bingo night, so please drop me an email if you would like to come along and join, and it is open to others. There are still plenty of tickets to go. Now, I realise that Sue mentioned questions will be reserved for the end, so at this point, I won't necessarily ask for questions. I shall just stop sharing, and thank you all very much for listening, and I will answer any questions that come through later on.
Very much, my friend. That was really interesting. I think we're talking about how we engage with our communities, how we get behind projects, and I think both of what we're talking about here are things that Lions can get behind. And now I would like to invite Chris Hibbert, Lion Chris Hibbert, Second Vice District Governor Chris, to join us and to tell us something about the programs that he's responsible for. Thank you, Chris.
Okay, good afternoon. Hopefully everybody can see the screen I've just shared. If anybody can, thank you Fran for nodding, I can see the hat moving. That's a good one to look for. So I'd just like to start by saying I'm going to talk about hunger today, but also there's an element of environment being drawn into this as well. So the first slide that you can see there, actually, I present it, that might be better. Is that better? See it better?
Yes, thanks.
I've forgotten to do that. So yeah, the first slide you can see just has hunger in the middle, and it just shows a few ideas and options that we can use to serve around the global cause hunger. So we've obviously got food bank collections that are very popular. We've got feeding the elderly, which is also a very popular project. We've got feeding underprivileged children, so thinking about things like holiday hunger, and a project called Magic Breakfast, which has been very well supported in District CN, getting breakfast to children that would normally turn up at school hungry. And if you can imagine, when you go to school and you're absolutely starving, you're not at your best, you're not doing the best work. So it's a great little project to do. And I think it costs about 35p, something like that per breakfast. So it's a very low value project to get involved with. And then we've got gleaning on the right-hand side, which is one I want to talk about today. And also another project I want to talk about is one called Feeding the 5,000. So Feeding the 5,000 was a project we first did in Leicester on September the 22nd in 2018. And as I said originally, this is about trying to address hunger and environment. So it also tried to address diabetes and also tried to address vision. So we had 4 of our 5 global causes being served on one day. But the aims of the project were, you can read it for yourself, but feeding 5,000 people, use it for free, so no cost, and that was going to be using food that would have otherwise been wasted. So we wanted to raise awareness about that food waste. We wanted to raise awareness of lions, you know, what do lions do? So we were trying to use linked projects such as diabetes assessments, environmental awareness and vision through diabetic sight conditions. So one of the reasons why is if global food waste was a country, it would be the 3rd largest greenhouse gas emitter after the US and China. So just imagine that. You know, we talk about, you know, cutting our CO2 emissions by changing to electric cars or all the different things that we consider, but food waste on its own is the 3rd largest CO2 emitter in the world. It's enormous. So you can see some of the examples there. This is all to do with bread. So, you know, of the 15 million tonnes of food wasted in the UK, bread is the worst offender. You can read the rest of that yourself. But if you just think about that yourself, how many of you actually think that you throw away huge amounts of bread in your home? And I don't think many of you would. I know I don't. But if you think about those packaged sandwiches that you buy in supermarkets and garages, how many times have you found a packaged sandwich that has got the crust in the sandwich? So when I say crust, I'm talking about the last slice of the loaf. And the answer to that question is never. You never see them. And that apparently is because we don't want to eat them, if you talk to the manufacturers. But what happens to all that bread? So for every loaf that is made, every sliced loaf that is made, the first 2 slices from each end of the loaf are thrown away for no good reason other than we don't want them in our packaged sandwiches. The good news is an organisation called Toast used some of that bread to brew beer. And that to me is a brilliant piece of news because I like beer. And the other good news is Toast have made this recipe free. It's available to any other brewery, and lots of breweries are now taking this opportunity up and also utilising some of that waste bread. So one piece of advice there is if you get an opportunity to try some beer that's made with waste bread, give it a go. It tastes really, really nice. So our Feed the 5,000 event, we used social media a lot to promote it. So we used Twitter, and we had 27,500 impressions using Twitter. We got a lot of support through Twitter, a lot of people offering to help us with various different things, a lot of celebrity chefs. We got a lot of food donations offered through it. We had a website set up at the time, which had almost 1,250 visits. We had 17,000, nearly 18,000 people, visitors on Facebook. We even used LinkedIn a little bit and got 50 shares or likes on there, and we had over 800 emails. And if you add all that together, that's almost 50,000 people that we reached through that event. So this is a few pictures of the event. So up in the top right-hand side, you can see our celebrity chef, a guy called Tim Madams. Now, if anybody watches River Cottage, back in the day, Tim was one of Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall's chefs. Tim's a writer of cookbooks and things like that as well now. He came along and did food demonstrations and panel discussions for us. We had 2 giant cauldrons of curry. As you can see there, when I say giant, that guy is actually a giant. He's over 7 foot tall, and he's stirring that little pot with a piece of 4x2. So it's one hell of a paddle. And we had 2 of those giant cauldrons on the day. You can see on the bottom left some of the food that we managed to collect prior to the day. We had a lot of that food was already pre-prepared by a local college, so we engaged with the local college, and they came along and did some ready steady cook competitions for us as well. So we had three versions of that into semi-finals of the final. And at the top right, top left, you can actually see the only picture of me that I actually managed to get into, and I had to photobomb it. So you go to all this trouble to organise an event, and you struggle to get yourself actually on a picture. But that's just my life. So coming back to our aims, so we wanted to feed 5,000 people. We only fed 4,035. So you judge whether you think that was a success or a failure. Did we raise awareness of food waste? Well, thousands of people attended, took away our lines, branded brochures and leaflets. And if you think about those pictures, branding was everywhere. We had branding on aprons, branding on tabards, branding on shirts, branding, we had 7-foot-long branded placards. And branding was absolutely everywhere. We conducted 60 Know Your Risk assessments, diabetes assessments, done by trained line members. So our district has trained line members doing Know Your Risk assessments, something that any district can do. Environmental awareness, we had panel discussions and face-to-face communications with numerous supporters and the public. And hundreds of leaflets were taken by the public talking about vision awareness of diabetic sight conditions. And why? Why not? It was to prove provide a public service and to celebrate what it is to be a lion. So many volunteers, and this was the best thing for me, quite honestly, many of the volunteers that came actually said it was the best project they'd ever been involved with, and they worked really, really hard. We had 2 people came, and they were ex-lions, friends of mine, and they actually said to me, they came for me, but didn't stay for me. They came because I needed help, but they stayed because they thoroughly enjoyed themselves. And this project brought together two districts during redistricting. Remember that difficult time? But we all really thoroughly enjoyed redistricting. This was conducted right at the point where E and EA were joining together, so it gave us an opportunity to actually work together and get to know each other. So I talked about what reach we had. We had about 50,000 people reached. We actually got on East Midlands Television at 6 o'clock news, the first item. So there's a little quick video here. I apologise for the quality, it isn't great, but it gives you an impression of what was achieved on the day. Can you hear that okay?
No, Chris, that sounds not right.
Yeah, it's because when I shared it, I didn't, let me stop sharing and share it again. Sorry about that. Share sound.
Show the video without sound.
No. Tell me if you can hear the sound on this now.
Reducing waste has been the focus of a different sort of food festival in Leicester today. It comes as figures suggest every year the average family throws away produce worth £700. Simon Ward reports.
Everyone was welcome here today. Whether you're a millionaire or homeless, you could get a free meal. This is cooking on a giant scale. Vegan curry was the main dish. Most of the food was close to its sell-by date, for example, but still perfectly fine to eat. It was given by supermarkets and local food suppliers.
Food waste is not just about hunger, it's an environmental issue, because all the water that we use to irrigate the crops, all the fertilisers, all the fuel, etc. So when you look at it from a CO2 emitter, it's actually the 3rd largest CO2 emitter after US and China.
In Leicester, the average family throws away 3 kilograms worth of food every week, roughly the contents of this carrier bag.
Everybody should look after the food, you know. Take as much as you can eat.
It's a good idea not to waste food. Try to recycle as much as you can.
Yeah, I think it's really good to reuse food. There's so much food waste and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's really good.
TV chef and food writer Tim Madden supported the event.
In terms of food waste, I think number one is to not buy stuff you're not going to use. It's quite easy when there's things being pushed at you, or you see an offer. If you see a 2-for-1 offer and you want to buy both and you know you're going to use them both or share them with a friend, then go for it. But if you only need one, just buy one.
Even beer brewed with unused bread was available, with funds going to charity. The main message from the organisers is don't make good food into rubbish. Simon Ward, BBC East Midlands Today, Leicester.
So you saw there, we estimated that we reached about 350,000 people with that TV clip. So that takes us to about 400,000 people. That's 400,000 people that now know more about lions than they did the day before. That's 400,000 lions, 400,000 people that potentially some of them might want to become lions. And we did actually gain some members from this. We actually had a membership stand on the day as well. These images you can see here, the one on the top, on the left is advertising an event in Colchester, a place called Lion Walk Shopping Centre. Perfectly named location for an event. And we're hoping to put an event on June the 12th. And the other two images are just basically saying your venue. So it's an opportunity for other districts or other regions or zones to consider doing something similar. And remember, it's an opportunity to publicise what we do. So we talk about global service causes. We've got 5 causes, as Sue was talking about before. But we can incorporate whatever projects you want within this platform. We can do vision screening within this platform. Okay. So the next project I wanted to talk about was our Gleaning Hub. So it comes back off the back of the Feeding the 5,000. We know there's a lot of food out there that's being wasted, surplus food on farmers' fields and orchards, but we did actually find it was quite difficult to get hold of it. So we decided to set up our own Gleaning Hub. And this is a short video of a glean that we did recently in Southwell in Nottingham.
Hi, my name is Steve Scow. I'm a member of Southwell Lions Club. Lions is an organisation with 1.4 million members worldwide, and we have 5 global causes, and those causes are diabetes, sight, childhood cancer, the environment and hunger. And it's the last 2 of those global causes is the reason why we're here in this orchard. We feel as an organisation that people should not go hungry. There's lots of surplus food around, and what the Lions are trying to do in this particular area is to save surplus food and get it to people who need it. Right here today, we're at Starkey's Farm in Southwell in Nottinghamshire, and we have got 265 pear trees in this orchard, and we're hoping to glean 5 tonnes of pears. That will go to a company called FairShare, who will distribute the food throughout the United Kingdom. Unfortunately, there is a glut of fruit at this time of year, and had the Lions not been involved in this glean at this orchard, the pears and the apples that we're going to take away would have fallen on the ground, and the food basically would have been wasted. By picking the pears, it actually helps the crop for next year. So we're hoping actually to come to this farm each and every year so that we can do exactly what we're doing this year.
So you can see my email down there. If anybody wants any more information about either of these projects, please get in touch. And again, I can share that on the notes in a second. So this slide just demonstrates, it's a graphic that I do on a thing called Power BI. On the left-hand side, you can see the red circles. These are the locations of our gleans so far. We've done 4 gleans. And the size of the circle represents the amount of fruit or vegetables that we collected at each location. And then the picture on the right-hand side with the yellow circles represents where we distributed the food. And as you can see, food has been distributed to pretty much every district in our multiple district. And we've collected according to this, 18,152 kilograms of fruit and vegetables so far. And the latest glean that we did, the fruit up in Starkeys, that was actually 2,150 kilos. And we estimated that was about 17,000 pieces of fruit. So if you think about your 5 a day, think about how many people got a 5 a day portion of fruit from that glean that they wouldn't have had if it wasn't for our effort. This is a graphic just showing the volunteer hours. So the blue bars are lions, and the important thing is the yellow bars are non-lions. And within this, so far we've had 50 hours of non-lion service, and these may be friends of lions, maybe wives of lions, or even people that are nothing at all to do with lions. So it's an opportunity to gain members. That's what we're here to talk about. So progress to date, obviously we've set up the Gleaning Hub in 105 CE. There's a Gleaning Network website which went live in November 2019, I believe. Since then we've done our 4 gleans that you've just seen, Peterborough, Basildon and Southwell. You can see we've gleaned over 18,000 kilograms of fruit and veg. We've had 8 Lions clubs, 1 Lioness club and 1 Leo club involved to date. 227.5 hours of safe COVID secure service. And the reason I've put that in is because one of these was in September last year. So when we were all struggling to find ways to actually get out and serve, instead of just staring at screens after hours, we managed to get 30 volunteers over 2 days safely in an orchard serving their community, which was a really good thing to do and was really well received. We've got 15 non-lions have contacted us wanting to volunteer. One of those volunteers recently attended our Lions meeting, and she's now a prospective member. So it is working. 11 non-lions have attended gleans, as I said before, 50 hours. We've released 3 editions of our newsletter. We do a newsletter now called Seasonal every 3 months, and we've done 3 of those. And we're currently discussing potential collaboration within District 105 CW, looking at working with the Federation of Young Farmers, Rural Youth Europe, and an organisation called LEAF, which is Linking Environment and Farming. So we are pushing this, and we would love to see opportunities to glean in all of our districts. So these are examples of the seasonal newsletters. Again, copies of these are available if anybody wants to have them. Just let me know. Alternatively, you could go on CE's website and go into the hunger part of CE's website, and the videos and these are available. This is just a picture of our first glean at Hill Farm in Peterborough, where we gleaned 5 tons of pumpkins and squashes. And we also encouraged each other to take pumpkins home and cook meals with them. So we had pumpkin curry, pumpkin gnocchi, pumpkin soup, pumpkin pie. So trying to encourage people to use pumpkins, because pumpkins, there's 18,000 tons of pumpkins wasted every year after Halloween because people just buy them to carve them and then throw them away. So most of the pumpkins that are grown aren't eaten, and they're absolutely delicious. The next ones were 2 gleans in Basildon, a place called Fox's Farm, 6 tons and 5 tons. And again, both of these gleans are taking maybe 8 people, 2.5 hours. So it's not a big effort, not a lot of work. And then this one was the Southwell glean, which was the apples and pears. And this was a much bigger project with 265 trees and took, like I say, 171 hours of service by 30 volunteers. I mentioned the Gleaning Network website. This is something that is available. We are a Gleaning Hub and we are part of this network. So far, the network have gleaned 561 tons of fruit and vegetables. On this website, we can record our gleans, so our gleans are included in there. And there's also a link to a little map where you can find your closest Gleaning Hub. And we have 3 locations on there in Leicester, Chelmsford and Peterborough. I would really love to see little pins on there for every district. It'd be fantastic to see us doing this together and having a Lions Gleaning Hub for every district. It's a great project, It doesn't cost any money. It's, you know, it isn't costing us money. It's out in the fresh air. It's very simple, and you know, why not serve two causes simultaneously? You know, why not, you know, improve the environment as well as using that surplus food to feed hungry people? So we have plenty of volunteers, but we do need to build up opportunities. We're actively seeking farmers across the MD and working with District Governor Lion Richard Williams and his excellent team in CW. They're doing some fantastic work over in that district, trying to create collaborations with the young farmers, Rural Youth Europe, LEAF, WASSUP. They've got so much going on over there. It's brilliant. I think this is just a picture of one of our Leos on the left-hand side, and that's my lovely wife on the right-hand side, doing a glean in Basildon. And then finally, I talked at the start about synergies and how various projects can link together. I just want to leave you to look at that for a few seconds and just navigate yourself around that screen and look for your different projects. There'll be projects on there that your club's doing, your clubs are passionate about. And the point is, most of our projects can be linked together. They don't have to be standalone items. We don't have to be just passionate about the environment. We can be, you know, passionate about lots of things. And if you want to move from one place to another, there are just small steps that you need to take to make that transition. So that's it for me. Hopefully those two projects give you some ideas that, you know, we need to be able to reach large numbers of people to promote what we do and to be attractive to the public. And there are lots of opportunities to do that from these projects, from the ones that Fran's talked about and the ones that Stu's talked about, and every other service project. So thank you for listening. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you. I'm almost stuck for words. Those were three brilliant presentations. Thank you so much.